So I spent the last week looking for a new RPG horror story to read that didn't involve somebody trying to get handsy with a new female player, or a dungeon master that tried to turn their players into spectators for their upcoming movie pitch that's shaping up to somehow be worse than Megalopolis.
So go back to the club.
And in that attempt, I found this. A ban list that user, TheRealLikala, posted on Reddit from a game she wanted to get into. It seemed innocuous at first, everybody has bans in their games, so you might be asking yourself, what's the big deal?
You banned Triton twice?
I just realized there's 3 images. It's 3 pages.
Oh yeah!
What the f do you mean Lore Bard combines skill versatility with magical support?
We will go through each.
Radiant Soul, that gives flying. This guy hates flying.
1 hour later.
This is a person who does not want to admit to their failures and grow from them. They'd rather put them in a tiny little box and pretend they didn't happen.
So to call these bans unconventional would be selling this post short. And at first I thought to myself, Crowe, maybe these were done for lore reasons. But each of these bans has a specific mechanical reason listed instead, and I'm not the greatest at remembering all the rules in D&D, yada yada. So to go through this, I enlisted the help of 3 other D&D YouTubers, whose links are in the description down below, and together, along with copious shots of brain bleach, we brave through each of these bans in a desperate attempt to understand what the hell this dungeon master could have possibly been thinking when he wrote this list. And so, without further ado, let's gather up a murder and dive right into this story.
Do you see what this is? Do you see what this is? Aurora. I have northern lights by me right now, and I am here. I could drive out my house 5 minutes and go see the northern lights, and I'm here for you, bro.
Did you know cats can see that humans have spots? Because we do have spots, humans just can't see them.
We have spots?
What?
We have spots, yeah.
No way.
I would love to see a chart of Myers-Briggs next to spots to see if we can start segregating people based on their spots.
This stays in the video.
Hang on, let me put on some infrared glasses. Everyone turn around, show me your backs, because I am not hanging out with a fucking type 1A here, okay? It's not happening.
So, today, here on the Crow's Perch, we have a very special episode in which I invited these goobers over here, Naigobi, Thomas Fitch, William SRD, friends of the channel, to talk about a very particular post that I had gone through on Reddit.
Friends of the channel?
Friends of the channel.
Yeah, I'll interrupt your intro.
You can
Friends of the
interrupt me.
channel? I thought we were
channel.
cool, bro.
We're best friends of the channel.
No.
I was told Crowe wouldn't be here.
Okay, fuck. A dungeon master created a list of bans, of races, subclasses, and spells for the D&D game. And at first I thought to myself, this seems pretty harmless. This doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Everybody has like a setting they do, and sometimes spells don't make the cut.
What's 2 + 2? I'm bad at math. Don't you feel better? No.
Sometimes some races don't make sense for what someone's doing in their setting. I want each of you to open it. Tell me if you notice something about this particular list.
Okay, look, I don't normally like whitelisting things because then it leaves a lot of issues with adding more things to a whitelist. I'm spiraling. What?
Wait, there's some stuff on here that's like really flimsy as to why. They don't like Githyanki because they have decent stats. What? Decent stats and martial prowess? What's the problem here?
That's the thing that really struck me about this. We're gonna go through it in a bit.
You banned Triton twice?
Yes!
I just realized there's 3 images. It's 3 pages.
Oh yeah, almost forgot. That's just
What?
the first page.
Wait, back up. I just took a double shot for 1 of 3. I'm sorry. Near immortal tanking capabilities because barbarian? What do you?
We will go through it, but
They just banned Barbarian?
we will go through it.
What the do you mean Lore Bard combines skill versatility with magical support?
We will go through each.
Hold on.
I would like to read the bottom. Is this little snippet here? The person who created the post. Not so much of the horror story as it is a WTF moment, but my current group talked me into posting this. So this happened almost a year ago. I was scrolling Roll20 for a D&D campaign to join that was happening at a reasonable time, and not the ass crack of dawn or the dead of night. Yay, time zones. I came across a campaign by a user whose name I will not mention because I don't want them getting picked on, with a pretty cool plot hook. The party grew up in an orphanage and are returning to it to face some of their old memories and traumas. Great hook, awesome horror vibes, very Rule of the Rose. Horror game by Atlas, released in 2006. I'm already interested. As I'm scrolling down for more details, I see the words banned races or species. I think to myself, that's odd, but I guess it's understandable. Not every race is going to fit in a homebrew campaign. Okay, so it looks like this guy wants to mostly keep the races to the PHB. Some weird choices though, like saying a Kenku is somehow bad because of their mimicry, when that's literally how they communicate with each other is a choice. Also, I checked. Leonins don't get an AC boost from their main. Their claws do get a boost to their strength mod though, so this comes up quite a bit. To mention the first image, we're gonna go through that first image. We'll go down from the top. We're gonna cycle through them. We're gonna talk about them. So the banned races or species. William, would you like to tell me that first race that's banned right over there?
Yeah, so they have banned bugbears because they're lanky, because they have the long-limbed trait and surprise attack ability.
I can kind of see that. That's kind of fair. Being able to attack at 5 more feet, I still think it's not that big of a deal. You could just have a spear.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like a good racial ability, and like, are we banning every good racial ability? Because if so, I can understand why this list is so long. You're only allowed to play B tier or lower races.
I'm gonna hold on to that, because if I see variant human isn't banned after looking at this, I'm gonna be very confused.
Erica, Crowe, they fly.
Yeah.
This one is kind of a
flying
classic
hater.
band.
This is the classic
like,
band.
I have to say.
I mean, I can get behind banning flying races. I can
Hold
get
on.
behind that.
I understand them jumping ahead a little bit here, but they also have anything that flies as a totally separate category. Who hurt him?
I think we're gonna find out who hurt him with the next one, because this one has the benefit of popping up multiple times for some reason.
Oh, please, spoilers, no. Triton, resistance to cold and fire, control water ability.
What's wrong with those?
Maybe there's an edge case of fire. Like, fire is pretty plentiful. There's a lot of things that do fire. But if I don't see Tiefling banned...
I can't wait till we see Tiefling banned, but not because of fire resistance.
You want T Pureblood. Magic resistance immunity... Okay, yeah, I get it. This
I
one's
fully
actually...
get this one.
Yeah, I
I
completely
disagree
understand
on
this one.
most race bans. I wouldn't do it myself, but I can understand full immunity, and then they get advantage on saving throws against anything that's magic. Maybe it says spells, but still.
Wanty Pureblood, okay? Nico and I have had a conversation about that because he has a character. Nico wants to play this character and he cannot because it's banned all the time. And he's like, look, can we like work on this? Like, can it be like you just take away those traits that are terrible? Because I love him and I also think this is terrible. I just like the thematics of it.
Next up is the ASMR Protector, and the reasons listed are a little interesting because, you know, Radiant Soul, that gives flying. This guy hates flying. But healing hands. Why is he so mad it gives healing hands? Lots of shit has healing hands.
It's kind of weak.
What's the issue?
It's kind of one of the weaker racials. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool that you can heal.
I don't get it. Sometimes it's like he lists something in this list, and it's like, that makes sense. But then he brings up a second reason. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You've made your case weaker.
It takes a full action to even get that additional damage. It's kind of equal to your level. It's never good. It's such a small amount.
But, edge case, Thomas, hear me out. Player down, someone's hurt. For some reason, none of your party has healers. Suddenly, Asimar Protector, his broken race class combo of being a normal paladin at level 3, decides that instead of using his bigger pool of healing from his lay on hands, that he's gonna healing hand somebody.
And even worse, he flies down from the sky.
Oh, he flew. Asimar Scourge. Why didn't he just say Asimar for all of it? Just say the whole race.
That's what I was thinking.
Is there
He
an
lists all the
Asimar we're
ASMR
missing?
and different reasons for each one.
Wait a second. I just
Oh, but
realized
it's not
something.
for flavor.
And I'm relatively certain healing hands is just an ASMR thing, not even
Yeah, it is.
race thing. So like, that's what threw me off. He doesn't put healing hands under the rest of them. And all of them get additional damage somehow, and he doesn't put that under all of them.
Oh my goodness, you're completely right. Also, he only mentions the necrotic damage.
Yeah.
And that's on the base
Sweet.
race. That's not even a thing that's just exclusively on the Scourge.
I don't get it.
Why would you not just ban the whole thing?
Yeah, he's just banning ASMR. He's banning
we
all of
covered
them. But for some reason, he's only mentioning the additional damage on Fallen. I'm guessing it's because he just thinks it's cooler. I don't know.
And the healing hands and necrotic resistance on individual ones that are also not sub-race specific. It's ridiculous.
Even though Radiant Soul, I feel like actually does more radiant damage or more damage
Yeah.
in general during its transformation because you could do it like every turn.
I'm pretty sure Fallen and Protector are the same. It's like a D6 onto your attacks, but Scourge is less, however, in an AoE around you. And it hits yourself.
Gotcha.
Tabaxi, feline agility, and climb speed. Climb speed! Okay, feline agility I kind of understand, especially if you pair that with certain things. For those of you who don't know, you get to double your movement for a turn for free, and the only cooldown on it is you have to spend one whole turn having not moved. Climb speed, who gives a shit? How often are people climbing and you're like, they gotta go slow?
Yeah.
How many times in your campaigns has climb speed ever come up? Like, let's be honest.
Genuinely, I, as a player, have needed it in every campaign I've been in, and I, as a DM, have made it more frequent. Maybe y'all need to get more creative.
You know what? Having been talked down to now, I'm banning Tabaxi too.
How do you feel about Zoddles?
What are Zoddles?
They're a common race in my world, but they're a homebrew race, but they're like a popular homebrew race. They're little tiny axolotl dudes. They're so
Climb
cute.
speed?
They're canonically good. They're literally just like the Boy Scouts of D&D races.
Climb speed?
Nah, swim speed.
Banned.
Ooh.
Banned. In fact, I ban all speed, not even walking speed. If you can move, you're banned.
Wait a second, they might actually make it. The Triton were banned for the control water ability and for the resistance to cold and fire. It never mentions their water breathing. Just saying. Axolotls, playable race in this
We
game.
could definitely make a gentleman's parlay about Zoddles.
So DM, if you're watching this, Zoddles,
I mean, you could still redeem yourself here. Like, this is a little weird. This is a little wonky. You know, I'm sure you feel terrible being roasted. I mean, you did make the choice to put this out there into the world. Just remember that free speech is a right, but freedom of consequences is not. So anyways, you can fix this. Just add Zoddles.
doesn't have cold resist, doesn't control water. It breathes underwater and it swims.
Sorry, we had to take a little like emotional break because we were getting a little heated and we're only like 10 in. We got a long ways to go. Fearbog, love them. They're adorable. They're so sweet. He doesn't because they can detect magic, disguise self, and speech of the beast and leaf.
I mean, furbolgs are definitely a little bit on the stronger side from what I remember, but he doesn't really list that. He just lists a bunch of random shit like they can detect magic and disguise self. So can half the species.
And
Why
they
don't
only
you
do it
give
on a long
reason?
rest, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to ban disguise self entirely, I do
Yeah.
not see the problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm curious about wanting to ban disguise self entirely because I noticed something he didn't mention. Powerful build and hidden step. Hidden step literally makes you turn invisible as a bonus action. That's not on there.
Right.
He doesn't see that as a
Right.
problem.
Does this man just hate roleplay?
I'm
Don't talk to
getting-
my plants, don't talk to my animals, but get the fuck out of my face. You know what I mean?
I'm getting the vibe from this person. They're very like 3rd edition brained and they hate active abilities. That's what I'm getting so far.
That makes
But
sense
they
for
do hate
powerful
the
build.
long
though.
limb trait, flying, and resistances. So I'm not sure, like, what other passives do we have?
Well, he doesn't like resistances. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like detecting magic. So I'm taking he doesn't like it when you get spells.
Yeah.
I wonder when we get to things like tieflings and whatnot if that gets mentioned, like the different spells that they get access to.
I wonder if this is one of those people who really wants D&D to not be so much a fantasy game and more of like medieval sim. And it's just things that evoke magic in any kind of way, or just,
Which, I mean, is a valid way to run a D&D game, but at that point, just like list that right away, not just giving these bullshit fake reasons for why you don't want different things.
See, that's the thing, right? Just say human only. You could just say human
no
only.
shit.
This is a low fantasy.
Not necessarily, because I'm also seeing that they didn't ban elves.
Right,
They
but like
didn't.
still, the list of available is less than the list of banned, I'm pretty sure. So it's just like, tell
Yeah.
me what I can do.
I don't know, because the list looks really long, but a lot of that is stuff that is like, if you put ASMR as just ASMR, instead of having all these subcategories, if you put shifter, if you put tiefling, if you just mush them, the list is not as long as it seems.
I feel
But
ya, I
there's
feel ya.
so many different types of elves already off the bat. Human, a Genasi. Why are Genasi not here? What is happening?
Genasi
I know.
also
Tell
have
us the
resistances, right? They have
Correct.
resistances to magic. Well, not magic, but like
Correct.
elements, right? Like fire.
Yes, sir.
And they're super magical things. So you know what happened? This is like if the other Wizards of the Coast game, Magic the Gathering, there's a lot of people who play the Commander variant who ban random cards just because they have seen them and lost them. I feel like this guy has just had these races in his game at some point and banned them. I don't think he went through the list and picked. I think he just saw it, said no, and then added it to the list.
But also, like, that has to be it, because I'm looking at this, right? He has a problem with Goliath because of, like, the powerful build and the Stone's Endurance.
No
doesn't
spoilers.
ban.
Hill dwarves.
No dwarves are banned. You want to talk about magic? How about lucky halflings?
High elves start with a bunch of spells.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I do really like how the list is ordered by nothing. He just started typing. And just-
Dragonborn. They have dragon breath. They have their resistances. No dragonborn.
Dragon breath sucks.
There
Dragon breath
is
does suck.
crystal dragonborns I do believe can fly as well.
He does mention at the very end anything to fly, so maybe that's covered, but I guess we'll see if Dragonborn makes on the list. I don't think it's going to, though. It doesn't look so far like it is. So next up on the list, Goliath.
I think this is most of what they do, if I remember correctly. Like, even though they're half giant, they're not like super strong or anything. They might get like powerful build or something, but they don't have a
that's
ton.
Goliaths, yeah.
Like, it's fun. They're cool. I think it's very flavorful. But
Kenku. This immediately sparked you guys like the moment you took a look at it.
Yeah.
Expert forgery and mimicry. Those are interesting things to ban it for.
this is what the OP talks about. This is how he sets us up into this race list, is how ridiculous the Kinku ban is.
Like, Kenku, I'm sorry, they're not that good.
They're really not. I mean,
they're
this is one of
they're
those
very
things that's-
okay.
Yep.
It's very DM dependent as to how you want to run it and how far they can mimic. But like, in general, you're so right. They are nothing to be feared.
I really can't think of too many situations where the mimicry caused me to be able to do something that I couldn't have done with a character who was a rogue who made a really good performance roll.
Or a minor illusion cantrip because you can
Exactly.
just make any audio you fucking want, you know?
Keen mind and using that same cantrip on any variant human could be able to pull off the exact same thing.
A lot of the stuff on this list, it's like you find the role playing really difficult, or you want a most vaguely humanoid. You don't want like anthropomorphic creatures or whatever in your game. A lot of it's like tone stuff and like how it fits into your table. It's like if someone said like, oh yeah, I don't like to drive cars. And you're like, oh, well, you know, you don't like gas, you don't like driving, whatever. And he's like, no, I don't hold wheels. It's like, that's the dumbest fucking reason for what you just said.
It's
like,
the dumbest fucking reason. Like, you're right, there's so many tone reasons, but it's not about that. He went this like wargamer route, but he doesn't seem to wargame.
That's fascinating.
Hilde writing down the craziest things he didn't ban because I had a realization. So here, look, all I'm going to say is I at first thought it was only the weirder races because what sent me down the rabbit hole I'm currently going down was the things that are unusual because maybe it's a super high fantasy. But he has some super unusual things on here like Leonins. Leonins are not fucking common. Same with Loxodon. So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. There are so many things I forgot existed until now. And I have the official book up in front of me.
lizard folk, they have natural armor and they have bites and cunning artisan, all of which are pretty good in the early game, and then they just kind of stop being a problem.
Yeah, they fall off immediately after like level 4.
Yeah.
Cunning Artisan has all the flavor in the world. It ain't even good to start unless you're playing like a super specific survival campaign where
Yeah,
resources
why
are
is cunning
non-existent.
artisan catching a stray here?
He just doesn't like races to have things.
Ooh, but you know what he's weirdly okay with? He's okay with Hunter's lore and he's okay with holding breath. He just doesn't like the bite.
You know what my favorite part is about the next one where we get to Triton a second time?
Bro, he hates
Is the fact that he lists the same reasons but in reverse. The first time he's like, I hate Tritons because they have resistance to cold and fire. And the
I would
second
like
one's
to
like,
repeat, I hate that they have control water. And also cold and fire resistance.
Yeah, so the Githyanki, because they have decent stats, and martial prowess, and then the Githzerai because psionics. You're welcome.
What the f does he mean by
But-
decent stats?
We know the real reason. Githyanki are banned in this guy's games because Lae'zel made him feel some type of way.
Oh, that's so true. That has to be true.
He doesn't want to face that he's into the DOMs.
What does he mean decent stats? When they pop up in Tome of Foes, all they have is strength +2, int +1?
No, okay, I can translate. If we say it just like that, just decent stats, it sounds like what a bullshit reason. But if we say, oh, Githyanki, they have decent stats, now you know what he means.
It's the Kalashtar. And they're banned because Mind Link and resistance to psychic damage. One of the least common damage types in the entire game.
But it makes me really upset when I have one Mind Flayer enemy and he Mind Blasts you and you fail your save and then you still don't die.
Changelings, shape change and deception abilities. Now I admit, shape changers are one of those ones where it's abnormally impactful. race choice to the point where I've never banned it, but every time I've had a player pick it, I've been like, I want to ban this. But, you know, I never have. I could see someone banning it, but this person has lost my good faith.
I can genuinely see this one being banned. I disagree still. I'll always have everything on my table, but I can get it.
Would you have a Warforged? And the reason why he banned them is because of their immunity to poison, sleep, disease, and self-repair. So Warforged, I totally understand if you want to ban them for roleplay reasons.
They're very
Inherently-
homeless in the Forgotten Realms, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it's crazy that they just started adding everything from Eberron and Dark Sun into just everything in the Forgotten Realms now. It's kind of funny. Like Artificers are just like, oh, they're here. Like Warforged, oh, they're here too. Why not? You
They're
know?
here too, yeah, sure. What are Warforged? I don't know, some wizard made it.
Wait, he only mentions the resistances from constructed resilience. And he mentions the whole thing of like not really needing to sleep and the self-repair thing, right? But he doesn't seem to really care too much about the whole different design thing they could do. Because couldn't they do a thing where they could have like different armor plates and like there's different like sub-races of them too? Or did that
one
get changed
did
in
not
Eberron?
make it in.
Oh, it
That
didn't?
make it in.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
That one is what they. But I will tell you, once again, spoiler for later in the list. They do get a permanent AC boost, which he has issues with temporary AC boosts later on.
Oh, oh. Wait, he didn't mention the AC boost.
Not at all.
Wait, he's okay with that then? So he's like, that part's fine.
He just bans everything for the wrong reason.
Satyrs, magic resistance, and charm resistance. So why are elves okay?
Wait, they also have charm resistance.
The answer is goat racism.
Buddy saw a goat climbing a wall once and fall to its death, and he was like, we can't have goats at my table, I will start crying.
Just
If
got
you have
mugged
goat
on
related-
by a goat standing on a sheer straight wall, looking down on him like, I bet you can't do this.
Minotaurs and centaurs and luxodons for their
Many Tors and Dons.
horns, which I'm guessing is also the charge attack reason for centaurs. But the charge attack
like hooves.
and the hooves. Why does he like the hooves? The hooves aren't even that strong. What's the damage on the
Extra
hooves?
attack, 3.5 player. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
wait,
He
let me
hates
see.
it when you do things. The Loxodon is banned because it has a powerful build with hip dips included in that, obviously.
That's honestly-
That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
they
the
meant.
powerful build is in the thighs. Right. The Leonin
Oh my
and the
god,
three
I
shifter
think it's a matter of
sub-races.
what is hot. Maybe there's one that I have a question on at this point when it comes to levels of hotness. This is your cliffhanger. Stick around and comment below what you think is going to be the race that is objectively a hottie for anybody who was born in the 90s.
Leonin makes sense. Wait, this one was a little weird because they don't get an AC boost, right?
That's what the OP said.
Leonins don't get an AC boost from their main.
Back up with their mane.
Yeah, you didn't know that? A lion's mane is the most defensive part of the lion.
I don't.
It's why I never shave. It's extra protection.
Oh, the lion does not care about shaving.
No, I got it. OP is bald. He's jealous of the mane.
No way.
He's malding.
Is there something about Leonin's mane that I'm not getting right now?
Leonins don't get an AC boost from their main.
What if he only bans races that can see his human spots? Because he doesn't like his human spots.
We're back to the spot. I wish we recorded during the spot section.
Because we do have spots, humans just can't see them. We have spots?
What if I told you I have a full set of amethyst dice on my desk? and they are
We're
my
moving
background?
on. The shifters, we kind of get that already. Bonus HP, increased AC. He seems to have the AC problem here where he didn't before. Maybe he doesn't think it's that big of a deal in the Warforged.
Again, only really a significant perk in like the early game.
Pretty much. Long tooth shifters, a bite attack. He hates bites. What's up with that?
I think he's been bit by another person, specifically. And there was somehow a fear of rabies involved. This is theory, and I'm gonna die on this hill.
Wild hunt shifters. He, once again, could have just said all shifters. Advantage on tracking and some speed boost. Does he ban rangers for this same thing? Don't rangers
We'll
get,
see.
like, tracking advantages from... No, don't tell me he bans Hunter's Mark. That'd be
One
crazy.
thing I am very curious about, though, because there's actually 4 shifters, and I don't remember which one we're not seeing here. Turtle, natural armor, yet again, and retractable claws, which I would like to point out are not retractable.
They're just claws, right? Maybe he just doesn't like it when weapons can be reusable in that kind of way.
He loves disarming players and hates when they get around that.
monks are going to be banned. I have some guesses as to what his class bans are going to be, but I'll say that for later. Gobi, would you like to go through those last 3 right there for the tieflings? Because only 3 tiefling subraces were banned.
Specifically the winged, because Infernal Legacy and Flight. Feral, due to tail attack and other physical boosts. And, actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to go through all 3. 2 is fine with me.
Can you not pronounce
Pronunciation is
Mephistopheles?
Mephistopheles.
Problem.
Because of innate spellcasting and bonus stuff.
Was that the reason why?
I gotta get into this immediately. You are right that he did not write out each form of tiefling. He specifically stated Mephistopheles. But the reasons he said it is innate spellcasting and bonus spells, which is what all the other types of tiefling also get.
It's so strange. Why single those ones out? Like, is there, maybe he just doesn't like what the innate spellcasting list is?
Do you like to hear my list now?
So,
Okay.
we were waiting to the end for this. Gobi has an interesting list here up to about 2024 or so of races that weren't banned but seem to share some similar traits. And Gobi, would you like to share those with us?
Now, first and foremost, he definitely is not banning only the things that he finds hot. There is no way that you find Leonins hot, but you're not gonna find Herringons hot, okay?
Herringon
Lola Bunny
banned.
bitches. But also that's wild, because are you familiar with Herringon's jump? Their disengages? Their shit is wild. Herringon is one of the most overpowered fucking things. They're a lot more powerful than you would give them credit for, and hot.
Go
I'm
on.
not 30, I'm just a child of the 90s.
Yeah, sure.
This is why I said specifically Lola Bunny, okay? Because it's just a child of the 90s thing. If you were born in the 90s and you don't find Lola Bunny hot, we need to have a discussion with the therapist present.
Inside of you are 2
Next.
wolves. Both of them find Lola Bunny attractive.
We have some weird bands here. When I see Bugbear, I'm like, you know what's similar to Bugbear? Hobgoblins.
Wait, hobgoblins are in the same book too, right? Volos.
Correct.
Thank you.
Kobolds.
Kobolds.
Why are they? Why?
See, this actually brings the anti-horny allegations to a head here, because I'm not sure if you know about kobolds, but kobold players, and I know you're gonna be watching this video, are some of the most aggressively horny people in the entire world. I'm thoroughly convinced that anybody who plays a kobold is a freak.
My girlfriend's
they
playing a
can
kobold
get-
right now, and I'm gonna tell her you said that, and she'll agree.
Next on the list, wild choice. How do y'all feel about a GIF?
The hippopotamus people.
How is he
Hippo.
banned Loxodon and not GIF?
Loxodon and GIF, I'm not sure if they pop up in the same book, but I know GIF pops up in Spelljammer later when they
It's the
start
same
redoing.
fucking vibe. Okay, let's talk about psionics. Thri-Kreen.
So this is where things got
You also
kind
have
of thrown off.
psionics with the gift too.
But
They
he only
are-
talks
Yeah.
about it when it came to the Githyanki and the Githzerai, as well as when the psionics popped up with the Kalashtar. But yeah, no Thri-Kreen.
is
Suspiciously
very weird.
absent. Maybe he likes Thri-Kreen Hypto. Simic hybrids. There we go.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
Civic
they're
Hybrid.
from
Yes.
Ravnica.
okay.
Ravnica,
Okay,
there we go.
Ravnica.
Yeah, never read any of the D&D Ravnica stuff, but I played the out of Magic Ravnica.
Fair. There is the Vadalken.
Vidalkin, just for all you MTG nerds who's gonna be so mad at her.
I can already see them in the
My partner
comments.
has tried to get me into Magic for a long time, but recently the Final Fantasy pack came out. And hi, my name's Gobi. But you can call me Jacqueline, and I might be getting to Magic simply because I was gifted a Moogle card, and I love him, and he's adorable. Cause those chocobos get me. They understand me.
Randomly, a month from now, I'm not going to tell you when, I'm going to just DM you Mephistopheles without any
Be
context.
the DM and the call pending notification.
The Grung.
Oh my god, I forgot about the Grung.
The Grung.
Maybe he just forgot about the Grung too.
How?
Because they're tiny. You just forgot about them.
Okay.
You look
know
right
what?
over them.
It's like right over them. They're
Not.
just little frogs, you know? It's like,
No, it's not tiny. Half orcs.
Which they can shrug off death once, which is pretty funny given the other stuff that's on here.
yeah, that's
And
true,
also
actually.
full orcs, which can bonus action dash towards you and get actual kind of crazy stats because they're one of the few races that, when they were implemented, take a negative to get bonus positive.
And he did read through the Volos book because he mentioned those other races and they're like bugbear. So we went through it.
Now, when I was giggling to myself earlier because of Warforged and the technicalities of it, I understand stats are stats, but clearly stats are not the thing. So maybe it's flavor, except that still also doesn't make sense because autognomes.
Wait, what book were autognomes added in?
Pretty sure that was also Spelljammer.
Did he just ignore Spelljammer? The Hadozi is another one. What about the Hex Blood? When did they come out?
Hexblood. Oh, in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. They were the hag people. It came out in that same time frame. Maybe you just didn't read it.
The Locath.
Lakotha Rising for Extra Life in 2019. That fits the time frame, but it was a side source book. So just like with the Grung, where they came out with one Grung above, I guess you just didn't read it. But no, that fits in the time frame.
That also leaves, to me, I think it's one of the wildest. I realize I think it's also Spelljammer. Plasmoids.
They like slime girls.
I like slime girls.
So, to go on with the story, it doesn't end there. I shrugged, giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, and scroll down more, only to find a list titled Banned Classes. See image 2. This is where the benefit ended, and I started scratching my head. Sorelock, Coffeelock, and Hexblade, sure, I get it, but he's basically banned about 20% of the 100 or something subclasses in D&D. Roughly. Not a math person. Mind you, he hadn't noted down anything about Artificers or Blood Hunters, but most of these are in the PHB or Xanathars, with the rest being from Sword Coast Adventures Guide or Tasha's, or the DMG for the Oathbreaker Paladin. And it's just feeling weirdly specific, especially when you essentially boil down his reasons to too much damage or too much CC. Right, so let's go through those. So the banned classes, oh my god.
I just saw one that I'm going to take a victory lap
damn,
about when
it's
we get to it, because it reconfirms something I said earlier, but let's go down the list.
Okay, alright. Twilight Domain Cleric, Divine Soul Sorcerer, and the Coffee Lock, the Warlock Sorcerer combination. His problem with the Twilight Domain Cleric is that it provides powerful defensive and healing abilities. One of them, I think, has popped up in Critical Role quite a few times where you could just deny somebody a critical hit. That's pretty strong. I totally get it. It kind of knocks the wind out of your sails. It's like having to deal with adamantine armor without having to deal with adamantine armor. With the Divine Soul Sorcery, he doesn't like the versatility of the Sorcerer with Cleric spells. That's not my problem with it. My problem is the additional system of points that you get, where you just get a shit ton of healing for like no reason, and it's basically the strongest Sorcerer class in the whole game. And the Coffee Lock, I assume if you're watching a D&D video, you've seen like so many of these, how to make your DM like cry in the corner builds. You could keep using short rests as a Warlock to turn all of your Warlock spell slots into sorcery points. And so you basically have an infinite pool of sorcery points.
I don't really ban things, but I do understand all three of these.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely.
I think this page starts out strong with maybe some good reasons for these bans, and then it descends.
It descends so fast with, look, Hexblade Warlock. I kind of get it. A subclass that allows charisma for melee attacks, making for a potent Gish spell sword. Maybe, but then you follow it up with Lore Bard because of skill versatility with magic support. So you don't like your players to be unique. You just want to be able to expect things because you're bad at DMing. And then you follow it up with Shepherd Druid, summoning and buffing abilities. Summoning? This is personal now. I hope you're watching this, sir, ma'am.
The Shepherd Druid shouldn't even count as summoning. Like, the summoning spells I understand, but it just does a little tiny effect that sits on the board. That is not summoning.
Just laziness. I'm mad about it.
Battlemaster Fighter?
Why?
I'm sorry, I was gonna pass this to somebody else, but this, as a fighter main, what?
And the thing it lists is just what the Battlemaster does.
Let me race ahead here.
Yeah.
You remember I said this man hates bites. He bans moon druids next. He bans the wild shaping druids because he hates the bite.
You viewers have no idea how much we've cut out.
After the Moon Druid, the Sun Soul Monk,
How
ranged.
dare they do
capabilities.
ranged attacks?
How dare a
Crowe
monk?
is
Following that up, Gloomstalker Ranger, enhanced stealth and combat abilities. I'm going to be honest, it is not banned in my campaign. I do have a player who is working on one, and I have done 2 one-shots with them, and I want to end it all. But I'm committed to the bit, so I'm still here.
very strong.
And then, like, again, you go into Sorelock, which is similar to Coffee Lock. You're dealing with the same, combines best of both spellcasting worlds. Is that not the same exact thing? He just switched the fucking names?
We get 2 types of paladins next. Both of them pretty flavorful. Paladins need a little flavor.
Conquest Paladin's Fear, kinda dog shit. There's so many enemies later on that are just completely immune to fear. By the time you get the fear aura, it's already obsolete. Useless. Oath of the Ancients, maybe. Like, I don't think it's that strong, but anti-magic aura, it's good, but it's just good. You're already playing a paladin. That's already crazy.
I'm actually, for the first time tonight, just now noticing a pattern. Low level play. A lot of the things that you've had to say is when they get to high levels, this is irrelevant. I'm wondering if he has ever actually had a table last to high level play. Because I'm seeing, even with the Drake Warden Ranger, summons and bonds with a dragonling companion. It is a full-fledged dragon if you push your levels into it.
You might be onto something here.
But I will say this, the auras that you get as a paladin, you get at level 7. That's beyond first tier play. It's a little bit already into second tier play. Things like Coffee Lock and Sorelock, right? They peak later. So that's where it gets a little weird. That's like second tier play, third tier play where it pops off. And then by the time you reach late game, they're just a monster.
The deeper we get into this, my older theory is starting to fall apart. I don't think he saw it at a table and banned it. I think he just read through them and was like, that sounds bad, and just all snap judgment. It's fascinating because honestly, we're reading out a list of reasons, but he has never once provided a single reason. Saying something like strong crowd control and fear effects is just stating what the class has.
Yeah, it's like
not
a basic
what the problem
thing, right?
with it.
Both of ancient
crowd control.
paladin, resilient tank with anti-magic aura. Okay, sell me on the class harder. Like what's the problem?
That's the character fantasy. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
It feels like somebody who doesn't want to balance their combats whatsoever. So diversity is bad. Following that into the Zealot Barbarian, near immortal tanking capabilities. That's not near immortal. It's not. I've dealt with barbarians of all kinds. You just have to look at what their resistances are. Add fucking puzzles where the boss is able to move around the table and deal with other people. So they are also having to chase that down and use their movement to do that.
Yep.
It seems like they're not looking for diverse teams or having to think. It genuinely feels like personal problems out of strictly fucking laziness.
Like that lack of being able to be flexible in combat leads to then, oh, I only want you to pick basically the worst version of the class you're going for, of the race you're trying to pick.
Even with Swashbuckler Rogue, because of superior dueling capabilities. What are you talking about with superior dueling capabilities? Okay, are you talking about you don't want to have to deal with somebody who can do sneak attack without having to be sneaking?
I mix up Twilight Domain and Grave Domain clerics. Grave Domain's the one that gets the crit canceling.
The Twilight Domain gets like constant temp HP with a little aura.
Which is also good, but Grave Domain's
good.
really strong.
Grave
So it
Domain
kind of-
is disgusting.
So then it makes me wonder, why isn't that with it?
I think Grave Domain is not on his list because it's not personal, because he hasn't played for it and failed. This is a person who does not want to admit to their failures and grow from them. They'd rather put them in a tiny little box and pretend they didn't happen.
Ooh, okay, damn.
That's gonna be like-
here.
Before we go into spells, I'm gonna read the
Yeah.
rest of this little part over here. Then we have the banned spells list, see image 3. I showed this to my current DM, and even he was scratching his head. In my experience, most of these spells aren't typical ones a player takes anyways, save for about a handful. Silvery Barbs and Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion, given the setting, that's understandable. But to my immediate recollection, most of these that he picks are 6th level spells, and if you're accessing super powerful spells like those, then you're around level 11 in Bard, Sorcerer, or Wizard, and probably expecting to fight the Abrahamic god at the climax of the campaign. Some of these spells are more like random bullshit the DM can pull for the sake of creating tension during a scene. Needless to say, I didn't end up throwing my name in the hat for this campaign, and haven't seen the dude on Roll20 since. My current group encouraged me to post the screenshots here for others to enjoy, but I'm mostly putting this here for the sake of discussion, which I hope is allowed. I don't know, it was just weird to see, and everyone I've spoken about it agrees that it's strange. What do you guys think?
Okay, so right away, Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion is banned. This guy's a NIMBY.
Near him. We got something in this country, you've heard of it, it's called NIMBY, N-I-M-B-Y. Not in my backyard.
I love on this list of spells, we finally don't get a reason for each listing except for 2, where with Delayed Blast Fireball it's specified only when combined with certain strategies. No quote about what those strategies are. And
Yep.
Regenerate can be very potent in the right circumstances, which is the same fucking thing.
Circumstances.
I can only use this spell, but I can't use strategy. They've banned a lot of insta-kill spells, which I could see a DM doing that fairly. So
No, look.
I'm
when
more
people do
against
that.
insta-kill being used against players than NPCs. If they disintegrate a boss, good on you. I've had a couple players get hit by those spells, and it always feels cheap.
But
when a
they're
DM
not
uses
banning them for their stuff.
No, and that's
Because
true.
a DM
That's
doesn't
true.
have to ban them. A DM just
Yeah.
says, these are
I'm
things
not
that I, as a
using it.
DM,
Yeah.
don't feel right using.
Silvery Barbs? I think everybody who picks that spell is a fucking munchkin.
I think that is accurate.
So it's
such
more
a
like
boring
I
spell.
would allow you to use silvery barbs, but I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna ban it just to see your reaction. And depending on your reaction is whether or not I'm gonna keep you at my table. You know what I mean?
You can get up to some hilarious stuff with true polymorph. You turn all of the party's horses into T-Rexes. I mean, number one, that fucking rules. Why would you take that away from someone, the ability to do that?
That is pretty cool.
But also, if you're like a game balancer and you're like, oh, there's certain uses of polymorph that are too crazy, why not just ban those uses?
Something I find fascinating too is the mother just like banned every 9th level spell. Like if you look through them,
Yeah, what's up
it's
with
like
that?
80% of the 9th level spells, which is like,
Oh no.
What's left?
just
Like,
don't play at that level then. Like,
what's left? Like Storm of Vengeance?
I don't get it. I'm upset. Why dominate monster? Like, did somebody
Wait,
just
that actually
ruin your
annoys
fucking
me.
BBG?
Yeah.
because remember, he's a sub and he's scared of the DOMs.
Oh.
Right.
Falls back into the cuck chair.
Why the is prismatic spray banned?
Right?
Anti-magic field? You already are banning so many magic things. Why does anybody need that?
What
Right?
spells are strong enough for anti-magic field to matter?
Why is Sunburst on there? What's so good about Sunburst? Because, look, Sunburst is good. I mean, it's as good as any other 8th level spell. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's one of those things that kind of gets outmatched by just, you know, the level you get it at.
Yeah,
it's
it's
great. It's awesome.
It's
but
good. I like it. 12d6 is a lot of damage.
It's a slightly better fireball that blinds people.
For 8th level? That's it? Okay. Wow. Out of any spell that I regularly see fuckery with, I noticed that Counterspell's not on here. Counterspell does a lot more weird shit than the stuff on this list.
Well, Counterspell stops all these spells that he hates. So
That's true, yeah. So he loves Counterspell for that reason.
loves Counterspell.
Why is power word stun here? Why is the only thing you have is for your creatures to move? Mass suggestion? Does Broski just hate fake news? Like, I mean, we all do, but like to D&D standards, like let a player have some fun, my guy.
Let them spread little breadcrumbs of just nefarious deeds, you know? Like, let them get goofy with it.
Guys, I don't think this motherfucker likes to improv.
I can see that. That's
I'm
why he hated
looking
the Skill
at-
Monkey classes, too.
I'm looking at the classes that he has banned. Why would you ban flight if you weren't trying to be lazy about the spaces around that you were planning or your improv? The fact that you would ban them going to a different plane, what do you mean? If you said, hey, this is a very high fantasy but low magic campaign, that's one thing, but he's not banning other things that say that.
My analysis is complete, and I have psychoanalyzed this person as someone I want to fight. And
You punch that motherfucker across the face and he says, no, that's banned.
If Buddy is watching this, if you are a DM who feels personally slighted by this video, if you feel like, but I would ban these, but I should, but, you got a long way to learn. This is a moment where you can either double down and decide, yeah, I'm gonna ban these and more, or you can take a step back, take a couple deep breaths, maybe check out some awesome YouTube yoga channels, really reevaluate and think about it, because this list is not cohesive unless they have personal failures that instead of overcoming, they are deciding to double down on. Don't be like this. Don't double down as a DM. You can do better. I believe in you. Crowe believes in you.
I do.
William believes in you. Fitch doesn't believe in you. Prove him wrong, okay?
Anyway, the
Do it
point is,
right now.
this guy and Jacob Crowe for subjecting us to this guy.
I was told he wasn't gonna be here.
I was gonna leave and just simply leave a chair for you guys so that you could just look at the chair and the microphone that's in front
Yeah, we
of
were
me.
we
could
were
sit in it
supposed
and
to be
get
doing
cucked.
this video with Crowe GPT.
Yeah.
And yet here's the real motherfucker.
You see, I betrayed you, and I apologize for that. And I could have
betrayed
had.
me. I was so excited. I was
Aw.
so excited to see a friend.
Thank
but
you.
then you started this off and said that I was a friend of the channel and not a friend of yours, and that made me feel really sad.
Oh, well, you're a friend. You're a
sad.
friend and a friend of the channel.
It's not the same.
As you take a shot from your pill bottle.
The OP also said they're putting it here for the sake of discussion, as though that was ever on the table.
Oh, the
this
discussion
is-
is bro sucks.
Yeah.
We discussed it, come fight.
I feel like the
Ow.
moment this person's inconvenienced by any character build, they're gonna end up there. And so, by the decree of the Corvid Court, what should happen to this guy?
I think this guy should be subjected to a table that is literally a bugbear, an Aarakocra, a changeling, a warforged, and a turtle who are using every spell he hates, and he is learning learning how to deal with it.
You're going for reformation here, and I appreciate that. I think we should ban him.
I just care about the D&D community too much to subject them to this guy. They must be protected.
Yeah. Which one's easier? I think given the amount of time you spent talking on each point, we know.
Somebody who always thinks that people can and should learn from their mistakes if they're willing. I'm gonna say a hot take here. Maybe it's not a hot take. Maybe it's an offensive take. Somebody who's this deep into their shit would probably not even take that challenge.
Probably not, unfortunately.
Probably
but
not.
I will leave that up to the comment section. Do you think there's anything wrong with this list? Is the list fine and we're just overreacting? No. They're wrong. This is awful. This is dog shit. But could they learn? Or should they be subjected to 500 billion years within the eternal chamber of agony and suffering, from which they will suffer and have agony for all eternity?
That's why they named it that.
That's why they called it that. It's true. Can you learn from this? Random person on the internet? Perchance. But I would like to first thank all of you guys for coming by. Thank you, Nagobi, William SRD, and Thomas Fitch for joining us on the channel. I appreciate you guys coming by. And I will see you all next time as the crow flies.
Crowe is always ready for his friends to burst.
Always ready for a friend to burst, you know? I was just drooling over the thought of the hobgoblin. Anyway, sorry, that's queer baiting.
Editor, cut that. Cut that. Editor, no, cut that.
D&D is for rizzing the homies. That's the best therapy you can have, okay?